I'm sure everybody is working, or everybody has given a seminar in the college as per their part of curriculum. So I little bit I increase this to be understand. Okay. Okay. So now if I take a normal example, that suppose your teacher give you a topic for the seminar, and seminar is going to be happen after the 3 weeks. So what you people start, as soon as you get the topic, you will start the data acquisition. It means you start googling it. You go into the Google and enter the topic name, and you download and gather the all information which is required. It can be relevant information, it can be a irrelevant information as well. Okay, but you start getting all the require all the data for that particular that topic. Then you prepare the data preparation. Once you get a raw data, what you will do now, what you will do basically, you will start segregating that data. Okay, for I have 5 contents: introduction, type, process flow, advantage and disadvantage. So now you start the preparing the data according to these sections. Then come to the data modeling. Now into the introduction, suppose you have into in um, okay. So now in the data modeling, what happened that basically now you into the introduction part, you suppose you have the 6 paragraph, you start putting into the bullet points or the valid points only, and then finally deploy and maintain. In this particular section, basically you start putting the things actually into your seminar file, and then visualize it. Okay, when I present this session, how it will be happy, or it will be good information, or the value, basically I'll not say the information, value to my colleagues, so that they can understand on which topic I'm going to be present the seminar. So this is the way that actually data science work. But this is a normal example, a layman example, but actually in the practical life, there's a lot of things be available in the backend of the data science which you people can learn and grow very easily. Okay. Okay, next slide is basically on the RPA, robotic process automation. If I say what is robotic process automation, everybody knows, sir, automation, definitely it means I am automating any work. But what is the meaning of the robotic process automation here? So robotic process automation means is that when you start doing the automation of a repetitive task. Let's take example here. Okay, suppose I am using a Gmail, and on the daily basis I got approximately 30 to 40 spam emails where I need to be logged into my Gmail and read that part and then deleted the things. So what I can do now, I can automate my work. I'll write a script into my Gmail account, which be integrated with my Gmail account. As soon as any email come, and that particular script will check, okay, that particular email contains these words, it means it is a spam, and remove it from my inbox. So this is called the robotic process automation. But how we are using into the IT industry is that basically, suppose now I take example, when you people go to the college for the admission, you have to fill a form, right? Then when you fill a form, your ranking has been done, your merit has been done, and then you get a list into the college. Okay, I am selected in this particular college, and now I can go for the admission. Then you get your I-card, your classrooms, your books, and everything you get. So everything has been done by the manually. It means there is some person sitting into the office who collect your form, who make you the list according to your sections or your percentage, everything, and then finally give the list to the HOD. But if these things can be done as an automation part, so it means as soon as you submit a form, everything can be done automatically. Segregation of the name, first name, your email ID creation, your roll number has been creation, your class has been creation, your section has been creation. Everything can be done automatically. It means the way the person who is working on this process is automating the stuff accordingly, and he's removing this repetitive task. This is called the robotic process automation. The robots are the example of this particular stuff. So now you just what you have to basically, you ask the robots, okay, can you go and switch on the TV? He walk and switch the TV for you. It's a robotic, it's a automation. You don't need to be get up to from your bed and go to the particular place and switch on the TV, but robots can doing on behalf of on your behalf. Okay, so this is called the robotic process automation. Okay, next one is basically AI, that is called the artificial intelligence. As the term indicate, there's a no intelligence as a human being, but we are giving artificial intelligence to that particular machine so that it can behave like a human being. The best example is Siri, Echo, and Netflix. uh, Siri means this is kind of a Google Assistant which is available in the iPhones only. So if you can ask Siri, Siri, can you dial a number for me? Siri can dial for you. In the same way that Echo is, it's an Amazon product, right? So you can, in the morning when you get up and say, Echo, can you play Aarti for me? They can play it for you. So in the short, what is the AI means? Artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science that emphasize the development of the machines. Again, it's not a development of the human being, it's a development of a machine thinking and work like a human. So when something work like you, which is not actually a human being, it is the AI. So I'm sure that everybody watched the Rajnikant movie called The Robot. Okay, so that, what is that? That is the example of the AI, that he put everything into that particular robot, that he is behaving like a human being and he's working like a human being only. For example, speech recognition. When you open your phone and click on that mic button and you say, Google, can you or Google, can you dial Mr. Prakash number? So Google go and search into my directory and find the Prakash number and dial it for me. Problem solving, he can help you in the problem solving, learning and planning as well. So you can ask Siri, Siri, can you help me to understand the what is the meaning of the commerce? So Siri can give you the best answer from that particular stuff. It means he's helping you to the do problem solving, he is helping as a human being, but actually he is not a human being, he is a artificial intelligence, and we call as a cognitive. It is a cognitive function which is behaving same as a, it is not same, it is similar as a human being but not as a human, it's not working as a human. But if you want to work something on the AI, what you can do, uh, okay. Okay, so this was basically from AI. So AI let me conclude this AI. So AI basically includes your speech recognition, problem solving, learning, and the planning things, and you can build anything on the basis of your machine. So the people who are from the mechanical background, they can start learning on the AI because they already know that how the machine is working. But they can implement or they can put something from the software side into the machine so that it can be easy for them to be work upon. The next slide is basically on the IoT, Internet of the Things. At point of time, everything, every device is interrelated onto the internet. From your mobile phone, your laptop, your desktop, your TV, your cameras, everything is Wi-Fi enabled at point of time. It means on everything is connected on the internet. But how the internet can be working, or what is the meaning of the internet of the things basically? So nowadays, we human beings are so much going into the comfortable zone that we don't want to work anything. So let's take example. I start from my office by 6:30 in the evening and I reach my home by 7:15. But I want, as soon as I reach to the home, my AC should be working and my room should be chill. So this is called the example of the IoT. I just click a button on my phone and my AC in my room will be on and will be start chilling the temperature of the room basically. So this is the example of the IoT. So IoT take two things majorly. Number one, software. Number two, hardware. And IoT contains connectivity and the networking. Basically, one thing. Okay, sensor technologies, cloud, big data, artificial intelligence. So you can put anything onto the IoT, but it requires the hardware and software integration, the combination of hardware and software basically. So a light bulb can be switched on or from the miles away using a mobile device is example of the IoT. Definitely it is be there. It is the best example of the IoT. So nowadays what I'm doing, I installed my Airtel my Airtel desktop remote control on my phone. So instead of get up from the bed and search for the remote, I just on my mobile phone on my TV and it worked for me as a user. So that is the example of the IoT because my phone and my TV both are on the same network and can work for me now from anywhere into the home. So in IoT, as I told, in IoT, two things are important: hardware and software. So again, people are from the electronic background or the mechanical background. It is a good place for you to be grow. You can work on the IoT. And guys, believe me, there's a lot of people I see on the LinkedIn that they integrate this thing. So what they did, I recently I saw a video in the on the LinkedIn that a person automating the home light system from the WhatsApp. As soon as he write the word light on the WhatsApp and message to his family member, the lights of that particular room has been on. So people are going up to that level, and that is the example of the IoT. So now you can learn these things and can be grow in your area. Okay, the next one is basically the cloud computing or the Amazon Web Service. So as we understand now that what is IoT, so I can say, okay, what is the cloud? So cloud is nothing, is basically which is not physical. It is a cloud form. It's a virtual basically. So nowadays, can anyone answer me that the data you are storing on the WhatsApp, the backup when you take, or the photographs of your Google Drive, where it is going to be stored? No, no worry. These photographs are not on your computer, not on laptop, not on phones. These photographs on the cloud, and you never see the cloud where it is maybe the next to my home, maybe in somewhere else, but I don't know where is the cloud actually. So in simple words, cloud is something which is at remote location. Cloud can provide service over the internet, but the main thing is that to use the cloud functionality you should be on the internet, either on the LAN, WAN, VPN, Wi-Fi, anything you can be done. Okay, so like email, web conferencing, so now you and me are connecting, but where this connection has been stored now, it is on the cloud. It is not on my system, it is not on my laptop, it is not on my phone or not your phone as well. It is on the, it is basically on the cloud at point of time. Okay, so Amazon is a one of the service provider of the cloud. So Amazon say that you can use my cloud as a for your development. So you can store your stuff into my into my cloud, or you can use that part as well. So if I say normally that, so by using the Amazon Web Service, you can create your application. So now remember, create your application means platform as a service. I'm saying here, you can use Amazon Web Service as a platform, or if you want to just deploy your application there, you can use IaaS as a service, that is infrastructure as a service of the Amazon basically. So Amazon are providing these kind of applications: compute application, storage application, then your content and network applications, database applications, deployment applications, and messaging applications. So when you people start learning the Amazon Web Services, then you people know that okay, these how these services can be utilized actually. So this is the way that actually Amazon or the cloud web services can be used. And in the at point of time, there's a lot of demand of the AWS into the market. So there's a different level of certifications are available, different level of courses are available into the AWS, and you can start the working as the AWS engineer to the AWS architect as well. Okay. The next slide I bring it from the blockchain. A very interesting slide. And guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. Because I think there's something has been broken. It's maybe the meeting will be end soon, guys. So if meeting will be end, please join the same link again. Then we can start the continue the session. Okay. So blockchain is basically, if you know that a few time before, I guess a year before, there's a concept called or the currency called Bitcoin. So nowadays, what happened that if you have a note or the coins in your pocket, the belief is that it can be lost, it can, the thief can be steal that part. But if you have a digital currency, then you have no fear about the same. And people are saying, I read it somewhere in the internet that people are saying that Bitcoin is very hard to break or very hard to hack actually, because in and Bitcoin is on the basis of the blockchain concept. What is a blockchain basically? See, this is one block, this is another block, this is another block. So these are the blocks, and when these blocks interconnected with each other, it become a blockchain. And blockchain use the funda of the data structure. In data structure we have a term called the hash. If you see here, hash basically, what is the hash? Hash is a number and a letter combination. It's a string of the number of the letter combination. If you see here, that if I take it this slide to you, so you can see this is a hash basically. It is hard to understand that actually what is this hash mean, and that is the biggest benefit of the blockchain here. That so this blockchain is be used basically when you want to transfer any amount from one person to the other person. So like this. So if you want to transfer any amount from A to B, and it is be online only, right? But it can be a risk that online people can hack your account and it can be moved to some other account. So what is the thing here, that the people or the technology guys develop a stuff called the hash function. They use the hash function here in the Bitcoin, in the blockchain, and they say when I say I want to transfer X amount to Mr. Prakash, so they bifurcate, they break this complete transaction into the number of the pieces, and every piece has in their own hash, and this hash will be automatically changes after 10 minutes. So it means after 10 minutes, the previous hash will not be valid. It's a new hash will be there, and a block will be and the block will be together when my hash, the first block will be getting connected with the second block, and it finally find, okay, yes, this is the right block, I need to be connect. Only then it complete the transaction. So in this way, that a transaction has been raised, a block representing a transaction, the blocks are broadcasted in the all nodes of the network. So it go into every network and find the suitable combination. Then when that particular block or the node get a proper combination, it become a new block, and it block added to the chain, and finally the transaction get be executed successfully. So nowadays even countries are thinking to build a cryptocurrency or the digital currency instead of the notes and the things. And maybe if the in the future it can be happen that the note or the coins which we are using at point of time may be no longer valid or available into the industry or the market as well, if we go to the digital part of that particular stuff. Okay, next slide is basically on the management side. It is a completely non-technical part, but it is a methodology. So how the agile work actually? What is the meaning of the agile? So agile says that when you have a lot of things to be complete, but you want to be sure that everything should be done very properly managed, so you break that thing into the number of pieces. So like if I take a normal example, suppose there's a marriage in your home. Okay, maybe your brother sister marriage at home, your home. You people never start everything at one point. Means your shopping, your bookings, everything you not start at a single point. You bifurcate the stuff. You bifurcate the stuff into the pieces. Like, okay, in the first week, let's go for the booking first. In the second week, let's go for the jewelry. In third week, let's go for the garments or the clothing part of the shopping part, basically. So in the same manner, these things work. So we have the when you break the requirements into in the small pieces, it becomes the user story. And then we take a 5 or 6 or 10 user story, and we develop that user story and finally give a product after the 2 weeks or the 3 weeks. That is called the sprint basically. So it is little tough to understand completely at point of time, but I'm sure that as soon as you start reading this, it will be interesting topic for you guys. Okay. Okay, the next one is basically from the ITIL ITSM. So when you want to start anything, any business, any function, anything, you have some strategy on the place, that how much money I need, how much people I need to be complete this particular stuff, how I can do this particular stuff. Then you design that part. Okay, let me combine these two things with this particular person, and then finally you start the transition part. Transition means actually you start using that or working on that particular stuff. Okay, and then finally the operation. So now if I take example, like say that when this college starting this online session, so they have the strategy means they think, okay sir, let's start. Maybe Mr. Prakash had discussion with principal sir that sir, let's start the online session for the first year student first week. They make a strategy. They start connecting with the people into the industry that are you available, can you take a session for the first year student, and they design it for the same. So every session will be for a half an hour or maybe 30 minutes or 45 minutes like this. And then they start the session on the day. Okay, on the day one, the first year class students will be there and they're learning these things. And finally the operation means now they get a knowledge, let's go and check their feedback on that particular part. So in this way they have the strategy first, then they have the designing first, second they have the transition, and finally they have the operation. And from every session they learn something new, and then they go for the improvement side. This is a fundamental of every industry at point of time, guys. So everything, any business you want to be start, anything you want to be do, you have a strategy, you have a design, you have a transition, you have an operation, and finally you have a feedback on every point of time. Okay. Now the question came that Atul, how I can learn these things, from where I can learn these things. So guys, from my experience, these two sites are best at point of time. Number one is the Swayam. That is a Indian government site where you will get the lectures of year, what should I say? Lectures of the different IIT, IIMs, or the very big or renowned colleges, lecturers, professors actually. And Coursera is the one of the American online learning platform. In this you will get the American lecture, test cases, use cases, or not cases, but the use cases, case studies, everything you will get it from here. Okay, so now you can be go and check your interested topic and topic of your interest, maybe IoT, maybe automation, anything, and you can search the stuff here and you will get the some lectures, some topics